Hello, race fans, and welcome to Extreme eSpeed TV Sunday Night Showdown as we will get started here with our midget division as they come from I-55 Speedway here tonight. And we will jump right into the action as we get ready to go here. Our standings for tonight here on the Tim Chapman Racing pre-race show. Brandon Templeton's your points leader. He's won 40% of the races he's been in. That's 4 wins on the year. He has a lead over Jeffrey Barker, Patrick Spengler, Terry Landis, and Jack Hitt. Winners this summer, Brandon Templeton with 4, Blake Chapman with 2, Steven Spees with 2, Jack Hitt with 1, along with Randy Shreves with 1. Of course, our point standings update presented by Sim Racer Hub as we get ready to go here from I-55 Speedway. As practice will get wrapped up, we will jump into our heat racing action as heat race number 1, of course, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies, and that starting lineup is going to look like this. Starting on the pole will be Brandon Templeton alongside Stephen Maurer. Row number 2 is Trent for Straighten alongside Blake Chapman. Row number 3, John Rayner Jr. next to Brandon Dittmer. And then our 4th and final row will be Bob DeGood next to Jeffrey Barker. So heat race number 1 ready to go here as it will be 8 laps of racing action. Getting our night started. Of course, this Salty Dogs racing team, midget division, kicking off our night of action. Next we'll have the Extreme eSpeed TV Pro Late models from Fairbury. So they are lined up 2 by 2 throughout as we get ready to go racing. They'll follow that Stephen King Foundation pace truck here tonight as they get lined up ready to go. Green flag waves, we're off to racing action. As you see, Maurer to the outside, Blake Chapman looking to the outside as well as Templeton will take the lead early. We got trouble in the back as they make their way around quickly here at I-55. Chapman up into that outside wall through 1 and 2 as everyone's chasing Brandon Templeton. You've got to look for this. But oh, and around goes the 88 of Maurer as it looks like John Rayner Jr. also caught up into that one. So some chaos here in heat race number 1 as Templeton's able to stretch his lead over Blake Chapman. Bob DeGood up to the 3rd position. Good run for him, staying out of trouble here. Up 4 spots. Brandon Dittmer behind him. And then the next group is the ones that have had some issues. It's Maurer, Rayner Jr., and Jeff Barker as they're out in front of Brandon Templeton. Halfway, 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go this time by. As Chapman chops into that Templeton lead, you can see Templeton down along the wall. Blake Chapman running the outside, and he has the momentum out there, especially with Rayner Jr. coming up, running the same line as Templeton. Chapman is going to make an attempt at this one. White flag will wave this time. Rayner moves up the track in front of the 20. Templeton to the inside. They'll be side by side at the line for the white flag. Rayner Jr. gets into the wall in front of Chapman. Chapman's going to have the momentum down the backstretch. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. It'll be one last ditch effort for Chapman, but it's Templeton at the line. Well, an exciting heat race number 1 to get us started. Chapman gave it all he had, but Templeton will hold on for the heat win, and he will start from the pole in our 30-lap feature event. And we will wait for heat race number 2 to get ready. As heat race number 2 presented by Langton Mechanical, and that starting lineup is going to look like this. It's Joseph Massau alongside Patrick Spengler, row number 1. Jack Hitt starting 3rd next to Pat Boyce. Row number 3, it's John Krupa alongside Terry Landis. And rounding out row number 4, it's Steven Spees and Jeffrey Kemper. So they'll get lined on the front stretch here behind that Stephen King Foundation pace truck, and we will get ready to go back to racing action. So a wild heat race number 1 got us started. This will be our second and final heat race for the midgets here tonight. As after this one, we will get ready to go to that feature event. Stephen King Foundation pace truck in the infield. That Lucy Olson green flag waves, and we're back to racing action here with heat race number 2. Jack Hitt out front, Patrick Spangler in second. He's got the 5 of Krupa to his inside. Steven Spies down there makes contact with Krupa. Krupa jumps up in front of Pat Boyce, as Hitt's able to break away with Spangler behind him. Spies quickly up to that 3rd position, 1 lap in. Spangler to the inside of Hitt through 3 and 4. Oh, hard hit in the back. Terry Landis involved, as is Joseph Massau. As Spangler will lead, 5 laps to go, coming halfway home this time by. And now you've got Spies running that Blake Chapman line. He's looking to get around that 217 of Jack Hitt. Spies uses that outside line, moves past Jack Hitt at the line that time by. Should be able to pull out further down the backstretch. As Spangler is in the pit, so that gives actually the lead to Spies. As he passed Hitt, that gave him the lead. As we've got Jonathan Krupa, Patrick Spangler, and Terry Landis all in the work area with 2 laps to go. Spies down the backstretch for the last time. Through 3 and 4. And heat race number 2 goes to Steven Spies in the 55. Jack Hitt second. Pat Boyce 3rd. Kemper 4th. And that is how they will go. So Steven Spies will start outside row number 1 in that feature event coming up here shortly. And as they move into our Oswego Speedway intermission, we'll take a quick commercial break.
How about the reverse for Lucy Olson? She has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
And just like that, we're back at I-55 Speedway at Federated Auto Parts. And we will get ready here for our Salty Dogs Racing Team Midget Feature Event. 30 laps around this speedway. And as we saw in that one, some tight racing quarters to ensue here. But we'll get started with our catalytic recovery starting lineup, and they'll start like this. Row number 1 is Brandon Templeton alongside Steven Spees. Blake Chapman third next to Jack Hitt. Starting 5th, it's Bob DeGood alongside Pat Boyce. 7th, Jeffrey Barker next to Jeffrey Kemper. 9th, Brandon Dittmer, and rounding out our top 10, it's John Krupa. Starting 11th, it's John Rayner Jr. next to Terry Landis. 13th, Steve Maurer next to Patrick Spangler. Trent Verstraeten in 15th, and Joseph Massau in 16th. So they get lined up behind that Stephen King Foundation pace truck. As we mentioned, 30 laps in this feature event. So as of note, there we go. Patrick Spangler is in the pit area. See if he can get out on the track here quickly before we get going with this one. Trent Verstraeten and Joseph Massau have not reported to their vehicles. So we will see if those three drivers make it out for this one at the start. Lights are off. That Stephen King Foundation pace track. He'll dive off of turn number 4. It's Templeton and Spees getting ready to lead us to green. And we are racing from I-55. They'll head off side by side through that first corner. Bob DeGood, some slight contact there. He'll save it as he collects it. It's Brandon Templeton out front. Chapman second. Spees into third. Plenty of racing action. The car goes around. They'll keep going. Oh, more wrecks here at the corner. Looks like Maurer was involved. Also the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper. Pat Boyce also involved. And our first caution of the night will come out. So we'll get lined back up. Patrick Spangler did make it out on the track and is actually already up 2 spots. He'll move in front of Pat Boyce and Jeffrey Kemper, who were caught up in that first incident. So it'll be Spees to the inside, Templeton to the outside here on this restart. As we get ready to go back to racing action, we are our first Mission 22 restart zone of the night. And another Lucy Olson green flag will wave. We're back to racing action at I-55. Templeton, a great run on the outside of Spees there. They'll go drag racing down the backstretch as Templeton will regain the lead. He'll scrape that wall through 3 and 4 as here comes Jack Hitt in the middle. Caution comes out. Looks like Patrick Spangler's into the pits. Jeffrey Kemper caught up. Also, Steve Maurer back there, it looked like. I'm sorry, Rayner Jr. caught up in that one as well. And we will take our second caution of the night. So they'll get lined back up, get ready to go back to racing action here. Templeton Speeds will flip spots this restart. Green flag waves. We're back to racing action. 3 wide there from third on back. Oh, car goes around in the back. As we will stay green, Templeton will lead. And we are quickly a handful of laps down here. As Templeton in the front 6 break away. Speeds all over the back of that 31 machine. Chapman and Hit also up there in that outside line. And just like that, we're down to 25 laps to go. Templeton getting hounded by that 55 of Speeds all over the back of him. Chapman not far behind. As Hit will look down to the inside. Speeds will take a look to the inside. He'll fall back in line as they go through 1 and 2. Templeton down the backstretch. Continues to lead here. Spees and Chapman now Hit falls back in line to the front 4, nose to tail, as they have also broken away. They're about a second and some change ahead of the 5th place car of Jeff Barker. Plenty of space between all the cars. This is the tightest battle on the track right now, as the Steven Spees tracking in that Templeton 31. Spees looks to the inside on the exit of turn number 4. Just nothing there as of yet, as he will look for that 31. Try to force a mistake out of Templeton. Riding along up on top of Steve Spees. You see he gets into the wall there slightly as he is trying to track down. Oh, into the wall hard on the entrance in turn number 3. He'll lose some ground and some momentum on that 31 as we've got 19 laps to go. Into the wall again for Spees. Caution flag will wave. This time for Patrick Spangler, just up ahead of the leaders. And just like that, the 3rd caution flag will wave and we'll get lined back up. So they'll get lined up and we'll wait for them to get ready to go back to green. Single file restart this time. Lucy Olsen green flag waves, and Templeton will lead us back to green. 18 laps to go as they take that green flag. Spees falls back in line. He had lost some rhythm there before that latest caution. See if he's able to regain that, as he now has the 20 of Chapman all over the back of him. The front 3 have pulled away from Jack Hit in 4th. Back in the pack, you got Pat Boyce trying to get by Bob DeGood in that 7 machine. This is a battle for 8th. Up ahead, Terry Landis all the way down to that inside wall. He was looking to the inside of Barker. This is a battle for 5th, as you see Jack Hit not far ahead. As Chapman's made his way around with Spees. Since the restart, Spees has raced down a line slightly lower than he's been all night. See how that plays out as he'll fall back to the 3rd spot. And now Chapman's all over the back of that 31 of Templeton. Templeton has a new challenger trying to take that lead with a dozen laps to go. We'll see how it plays out. Chapman right to that bumper of the 31. 10 laps to go around this I-55 speedway. Chapman continuing to hound that 31 machine of Templeton. Unable to make a move as of yet. He will pull away down the backstretch as the Fast 20 machine leads now with 7 laps to go. Our first lead change at the flag of the night, as Chapman now has opened up a 0.7 of a second lead. And that is really the closest battle on the track as of right now, as we have gotten very separated around this track. Just so you know, Patrick Spangler left the race after lap number 9, Brandon Dittmer after 14, Jeffrey Kemper at 17, and Terry Landis at 19. They all run 11th through 14th. Is now lap traffic up ahead of the 20 machine. He'll slow down as he caught them right at the front stretch. As now he tries to move around that 5 of Krupa. Krupa down to the inside. He'll move out of the way. 3 laps to go now for Blake Chapman. One and a half laps to go. White flag will wave. Blake Chapman will take the white flag as he gets ready to pick up another Sunday night midget victory out of turn number 4. And it is Blake Chapman, your winner. Templeton second. Steven Spies third. So they will stop here on the front stretch. And we will talk to our top 3 finishers here in a moment. Because it's Chapman, Templeton, Spies. They get their photo taken there at the start-finish line. As you can see, our final results here from I-55, and we'll talk to our third place finisher. It's going to be the 55 of Steven Spies. Steven, walk us through your night there. You were right on the tail of that 31 machine. It looked like you almost lost some rhythm there right before that caution, and then your car was never really the same once you went back to green.
Yeah, it seemed like the cushion just went away all of a sudden to me. I was running real good and just kind of biding my time, figuring I'd find an opportunity, and then all I found was my way to hit the right rear into the wall, and kind of got a little gun shy after that and was being too careful and let those guys get away, and got it back there towards the end, and had a good run around the top. Thought I was going to be able to get a run on Brandon to maybe get second there with a couple laps to go, and I don't know if he was maybe run a little different line, but he kind of cut down in the middle of the corner, and I couldn't blow up enough because I had a good head of steam and hit him. Luckily, he got to keep going. I didn't lose a spot, so just kept it safe the last couple of laps there and took my third.
When you were chasing down the 31 the first half of the race, did you feel like you had as good of a car as he did out front and had an opportunity to go for the win or go for the lead?
Yeah, I felt real good the first quarter of the race there, whatever it was. Had good speed. It was, just I really was going to need him to make a mistake. Couldn't get a good run off the corner to try to get a good slide job or anything. So was right there. Felt I had a little bit more speed, but being a little bit faster is not enough to pass a lot of times. So you just got to ride and wait for that opportunity. And it just didn't happen.
Well, next up we'll go to Fairbury in the late model. What do you expect out of that race there, and how do you expect to perform there for 30 laps?
I think aren't we actually at Lincoln tonight? I think we were at Fairbury last time. So if we are at Lincoln, I don't love it, but whatever track we're at, we'll race it.
You're right. You're right. We're at Lincoln. That's my fault.
No, that's what I thought. Lincoln's like the Frankenstein's monster of, I call it the platypus of dirt tracks. It's like the corners are different. It's uphill. It's downhill. It's all over the place. So just go in there and drive circles and try to keep it clean and just hope for the best.
Well, great run tonight. You start your night off with the podium. Anybody you want to give a shout out to tonight, Stephen?
No, just thanks to Blake and Brandon. That was good fun racing. They both outdrove me, but nice job to both of them.
Well, that is our third place finisher. We'll see him in the late model next. It's Steven Spees coming home third tonight. Now we'll talk to our second place finisher. It's going to be the 31 of Brandon Templeton. Brandon, walk us through that first half of the race where you were out front, and then walk us through what happened after that caution for the second half. Brandon, got a copy? We'll come right back. We'll try Brandon in a second. For some reason, not hearing him on our end. We'll go to Victory Lane real quick and talk to the 20 of Blake Chapman. Blake, walk us through your race there as your car really came on there at the end and you were able to jump to the lead.
Yeah, I knew the top was going to be the way around. It was really fast up there, so for the first part of the race, I was running up there, but I wasn't driving the thing very hard. I was just kind of saving the tires a little bit, making sure I wasn't lighting them up. And Speeds and Brandon were right on each other, battling pretty hard. So I kind of let them run away from me a little bit there. I knew we'd have another caution, and when I got one, I was happy to see that. And with about 15 to go, I started driving it harder, and got Speeds there, and then a couple laps later got Brandon, and felt like the car went away with just a little bit there at the end, but had a big enough lead to hold on to it.
When you guys are running nose to tail in these midgets and really tightly racing up around that outside, is that just something you get used to the more time you have, or does it still get a little nerve-wracking every time just in case a bobble up ahead happens?
Yeah, it's not very comfortable up there when you're running right behind somebody up on the cushion. It doesn't matter what track you're at, unless if there's a wall there, you never know if they're going to get into the wall, and if they do get into the wall, how the car's going to react. You never know how iRacing is going to have them jump from place to place after they get into the wall. So you just gotta be ready for it and ready to get off the pedal and hit the brake. But unfortunately, I didn't have to run right behind them too many laps tonight. I wasn't going to worry about that, so I was able to just get underneath them and throw a slide job, which I enjoy doing in these midgets. They're real fun to just drive into the corner really hard, as hard as you can. And they're really tough vehicles, so especially in these things running to the top, it can be really nerve-wracking.
We watched you have a big weekend last Sunday. Will you be hopping in the late model next at Lincoln?
Yes, I will. I'm not expecting much, though. I don't think I've ever ran a late model there before. And
I think that's something you told us last week, and it didn't seem to really matter for you.
Fairbury's not a bad track. I didn't run the late models very much, but I know I've never touched Lincoln with a late model, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the track, so hopefully I do better than I think I will.
Well, great run and great start to your Sunday night, Blake. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yep, my parents and grandparents for watching and supporting the Kite Sim Racing Team and the Can-Am Racing Team. Gotta give a shout out to Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You can head over to their website and use code CART, C-A-R-T at checkout for 15% off of their popcorn. Just got back from Knoxville and all the guys down there really, really liked it. Hopefully they order some for themselves. And I gotta thank you for putting this broadcast on.
Well, that is Blake Chapman, our midget winner from Extreme E Speed TV Victory Lane here tonight, kicking off our Sunday night. And now we'll try again. Brandon, it's Travis up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. So walk us through there. You had a lead, a commanding lead at times that first half. That caution came out about halfway, and it seemed like your car just wasn't the same after that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I knew the high side was there, and the bottom kind of went away definitely in the feature. But at the same time, Blake was kind of coming. I didn't know if I should be saving tires more or driving harder. So I just kind of kept consistent, kept doing what I do, and I figured if he got me for the lead, he got me for the lead, and sure enough, he did. I saw him in Mamir, actually. He made a great slider on, I think it was Steven for second, and Mamir in 3 and 4, so I kind of was pretty sure that was where the move was going to work, and sure enough, he pulled it off there and took the win. Congrats to him. He drove an awesome race.
Once he got by you, did you feel like you had anything to try to track him back down and get back into the lead?
Not really. I mean, there was a few moments there, a couple laps maybe, that I held with him or something, but for the most part, he was pulling away. I don't know if it was tires or driving, and he was going through the corners a little different than me, and he was just had a little more than I had tonight.
Well, a great run. You'll come home second tonight. Any sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank Dirt Track Bank, Got Your Six Racing Network, Hammer Down Racing Team, Joe Kurt and Brian for all their help. All the guys, that came to Knoxville and hung out this weekend. This week was really awesome. Great to meet everybody. Big C's Lawn Care, Extreme Images, Maley's Bakery. You guys for doing the stream and everyone watching at home. Thank you.
That is Brandon Templeton, our second place finisher in tonight's Salty Dogs Racing Team Midget Division. And like Spees said, we will get ready to go to Lincoln Speedway for the Extreme E Speed TV Pro Late Model Division coming up next. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will be at Lincoln with the late models.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
For Lucy Olson, she has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
And welcome to Lincoln Speedway as we are getting ready to go here at the Tim Chapman pre-race show. We'll take a quick look at those standings. Here for the late models, it's Steven Spies, 4 wins, your points leader. Second, Patrick Spangler. Kurt Schatzer, third with 1 win. Brandon Templeton, fourth with 2 wins. Jeffrey Kemper, fifth. And Blake Chapman in sixth with 1 win. John Hine also has a win in 2 starts here in the Pro Late Model division. As we get ready to go, we'll look at that starting lineup here for Flatline Racing Bodies Heat Race number 1. It's going to be Kurt Schatzer next to Blake Chapman. Row number 2, Ryan Dickens alongside Jeffrey Kemper. And starting in row number 3, it's Brandon Templeton next to Bob DeGood. Side by side, we get ready to go 8 laps here in heat race number 1. So they will go, green flag waves. Heat race number 1 underway here for the Pro Late models here at Lincoln Speedway. You've got that guardrail to the inside, the wall. Oh, around goes Dickens as the front 3 will break away. Schatzer, Chapman, Templeton, Bob DeGood, Kemper, and Dickens all set back after that. Bob DeGood will move up into the 4th spot. Dickens into the pit area. Very quickly, a 3-car breakaway out front. Schatzer, Chapman, Templeton as they make their way around. Templeton trying to move to the inside of Chapman. Chapman will have that outside momentum though. Slight contact there with Chapman and Schatzer. Of course, just a reminder, Chapman won our midget race. Set the bar low here with the late model as he is quickly holding on to that 2nd position. As Schatzer's out front, this time by will be 4 laps to go, so we'll be halfway here. Of course, Lincoln Speedway up in Pennsylvania, Abbottstown, Pennsylvania, known for its PA posse for the sprint cars. But we've got late models there tonight. Schatzer out front as now Templeton looks to the inside of Chapman again. He'll try to slide up in front of him. He will make it work. He'll move into 2nd now as we have 3 laps to go. While they battled, Schatzer was able to stretch out his lead a little bit. Ooh, back on the pack, Bob DeGood hard into the wall. Kemper was able to move past him for the 4th position as it's still Kurt Schatzer out front as he comes through the corner. And it will be white flag waving this time by. Final lap here at Lincoln in heat race number 1. It's Schatzer out front. Then it's Templeton, Chapman, Kemper, DeGood. DeGood hard into the wall, so he's into the work area. So 4 cars out on the track. Kemper's 4 seconds behind the leader. So it'll be Schatzer out of turn number 4 for the win. Templeton 2nd, Chapman in 3rd. And Schatzer will start on the pole for our 30-lap feature event as we move on to Langton Mechanical Heat Race number 2. And they will line up like this. It's Patrick Spangler, Brandon Dittmer, row number 1, Steven Spee starting 3rd next to Pat Boyce, and it's Jeff Barker starting 5th to round out the field. So they'll get behind that Stephen King Foundation pace truck as we get ready to go back to racing action. So the Stephen King Foundation pace truck dives on in. Dittmer is still there. Thinking possible connection issues with him. That could cause some havoc up front. But it's Patrick Spangler, Brandon Dittmer leading us to green. Green flag waves. We're back to racing at Lincoln. Side by side through the corner. Ooh, Dittmer gets out of sorts there. That opens the door for Spees to the inside. Spees will move up into that 2nd spot. Now you got Pat Boyce and Barker both looking to the inside of Dittmer there. 3 wide for a moment through the corner. As it's still Patrick Spangler out front. Spees in 2nd. Dittmer out to the outside. Pat Boyce to his inside. 3 wide again. Looks like Barker's going to take advantage of it. As Pat Boyce thinks the better of it, he'll let those 2 battle up ahead now. as Boyce quickly became a sandwich between Barker and Dittmer while they battle back there for third. Spies looking for something around that 39 to Spengler. He'll cross him over on the exit. He will lead this lap. Spies to the front with 5 laps to go. Spengler battles back down the backstretch, looking to the inside. He'll try to pull back ahead. He'll slide up in front. Spies will cross him back over again. It'll be Spies at the line. Spies continues the lead. Spengler unable to make a move this time through the corner, so Spies will lead. We're past halfway, only 3 laps to go in this heat race. Spengler now looking to the inside of that 55. It's going to be Spies on the outside. 2 laps to go here at Lincoln with the Pro Late models. White flag will wave for Steven Spies. He's separated from Spengler now. All 5 cars in this heat race spread out around this Lincoln Speedway, as Dittmer will pull into the pit area, and it will be Steven Spies, your winner. Here at Lincoln, he will start outside of row number 1 in tonight's feature event. With that, we'll move on to our Oswegan Speedway intermission. And with that, we'll take a quick commercial break. We will be back here shortly for the catalytic recovery starting lineup.
How about the reverse for Lucy Olsen? She has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olsen, talented sophomore. And with that, we are back at Lincoln Speedway as we will get ready
for tonight's feature event here with the Extreme E Speed TV Pro Late Model Division, as we will have that catalytic recovery starting lineup. And they will start like this. Row number 1, it's going to be Kurt Schatzer alongside Steven Spies. Brandon Templeton third next to Patrick Spangler. Blake Chapman, our midget winner, starting 5th next to Jeff Barker. 7th, Jeffrey Kemper next to Pat Boyce. 9th, Bob DeGood. 10th, Brandon Dittmer. And rounding out the field is the 122 of Brian Dickens. So lined up here on the front stretch at Lincoln behind that Stephen King Foundation pace truck, as we will get ready to go late model racing here, 30 laps around this Lincoln Speedway. So they will make their way around, getting ready to go green here. Of course, this will conclude our Sunday night showdown. Our Dylan Westbrook Racing look ahead tomorrow night. Make sure you tune in. We have Oswegan Speedway Monday Night Madness, all the coverage on the Coast to Coast Racing Network at 7:45. For the Langton Mechanical Rebels division from Williams Grove. But we've got racing here tonight at Lincoln. Late models, green flag waves, and we are racing here at Lincoln with the Extreme E Speed TV late model division. Templeton slides up, slight contact with the 55. That's Pat Boyce collecting his car back there in the pack. He'll fall back as Schatzer and Spies still side by side. 3 wide on the exit of turn number 4 for third. Schatzer looking to the inside of Spies, as Spies will take over that lead. He'll move up and the caution flag will come out. It looks like Jeff Barker involved in this one. Brian Dickens as well. Ooh, plenty of damage there on the exit of turn number 2. So our first caution flag of the night for the late models waves. We'll get lined back up and go back to racing action here shortly. So they get prepared to go back to racing action here. It's Spies out front, Schatzer second, Templeton third, Chapman and Kemper. As the Stephen King Foundation pace truck jumps off. And we will go back to racing action. As the green flag waves, Spies out front, Schatzer in second. Clean restart here as we're back to action as we work lap number 4. Spies continues to lead, but he's got that 18 of Schatzer all over the back of him. Who, slight contact with Templeton behind. Chapman will get checked up. Chain reaction. And that will set off our second caution of the night. There's Chapman parked. As we saw, it started with Schatzer and Templeton. Chapman and then Kemper, no place to go as he got into the back of the 20 machine. But we're down to 25 laps to go here with the Pro Late models. So we will get lined back up. 24 laps to go now. As Spies and Schatzer will lead us back to green. Back to green they go. Spies will lead them off into turn number 1. Schatzer to the outside. Templeton there. Kemper makes a move to the outside with Brandon Dittmer behind him. It looks like Bob DeGood and Barker make contact back in the corner. Spies continues the lead. He's got Schatzer all over him. Passing, especially up front, is at a premium. As you see Templeton looking to the inside of Schatzer, unable to make it stick, as Schatzer will hold on. Spies continues to lead out front. Templeton and Schatzer side by side for second behind him. Kemper and Dittmer side by side behind them for the 4th position. And coming to 20 laps to go. It is going to be Spies with Schatzer, Templeton, Kemper, and Dickens now up to 5th. Schatzer holds on to that 2nd spot. Templeton unable to clear him as of yet. See, Templeton will give it another go as we're down to 19 laps to go here. Spies out front. Spies using that outside line, especially through 3 and 4. Dickens still running 5th. Chapman's made his way back up to 7th as he's trying to get back up towards the front. As Templeton continues to work on that 218 of Schatzer. Through the corner they go. Templeton really gets a run through 1 and 2, able to pull up alongside of Schatzer down the backstretch. But 3 and 4 with it squaring up on the exit of turn number 4. No momentum for that 31, and he has to fall back in line. Very quickly, we're almost to that halfway mark here at Lincoln with the Pro Late models. Templeton continues to work that inside. There's turn number 4 again. He'll lose that momentum as now Kemper is under attack from Dickens. That's a battle for 4th behind them. The 122's made his way up. He started at the rear, now up into the top 5. He was also collected in one of those first cautions that we had. Tire nose was ripped off. Oh, he gets into Kemper there. That'll slow down his momentum. As up front, 14 laps to go, it's still Steven Spies. Spies out front. Schatzer still under attack from Templeton. So Schatzer now to the inside of Templeton. Templeton will take it over. He goes up and around Schatzer, finally able to move into that second spot. As now Templeton's got that 55 in his crosshairs. 11 laps to go, and he's trying to track down that 55 of Spies. Kemper is now back under attack from Dickens. Dickens regained his rhythm and momentum there. Is now he's all the way down to the guardrail. Spies now has lost his lead as Templeton has caught right up to the bumper of the 55. It's going to be 9 laps to go, and we're going to have a battle for the lead here at Lincoln. Templeton now trying to look to the outside of the 55, see if he can make a similar move that he made on Schatzer. Unable to do it through 1 and 2. 31 all over that 55 of Spies now with 8 laps to go, 1 heat race to go, and we will be done here with the Pro Late Models on Sunday night. Templeton's able to get up alongside him in 3 and 4. He'll lose that momentum down the front stretch as he'll try again here now with 7 laps to go. Templeton will give it a try to the inside. He'll slide up, loses momentum. Spies will regain the lead. 6 laps to go. Templeton will have to reset and plan another attack on that 55 up ahead as Dickens has moved past Kemper for the 4th position. Templeton's back up alongside that 55 machine. He will have another go at it here. Four laps to go, 31. Game of cat and mouse. He looks to the outside of the 55. He's there. He'll be there going off as the 55 will close him off in 3 and 4. This is going to allow Schatzer to close in as they battle for the lead. 3 laps to go, and Templeton is looking for a move on that 55. Down to the inside he goes. He'll slide up. They'll make contact. Reset. 2 laps to go now. Templeton has tried numerous times now, unable to do it as Schatzer now closes in on that bumper of the 31. They'll go down the backstretch through 3 and 4. The white flag will wave this time by. The next flag will be the checkered flag as Templeton tries to make a move. He'll get to that left quarter panel of the 55, unable to make a move. He'll have one more corner to try up around the 55 through turn number 4. Down the front stretch, it's going to be Spies at the line just in front of Templeton. Schatzer in 3rd. So Steven Spies will win in a great race here. 2 great feature events here on Sunday Night Showdown. As our racing action comes to a close, and they will park it there on the front stretch, and we'll talk to those 3 finishers up front. While we wait for them to join us, we'll throw up those final results for tonight here in the Extreme E-Speed TV Pro Late Model Division. As we will talk to our 3rd place finisher. That's going to be the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. Kurt, walk us through your night there as you were in that battle for the top 3 from start to finish. Kurt, it's Travis in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I hear you, Travis.
Kurt, walk us through there. You were part of that battle up in the top 3 all night long. Walk us through that with Templeton and Spies.
Well, yeah, it was a pretty good race there. I had a pretty good view of once Brandon Templeton got by me there and made a run down there rain down speeds there. It's a pretty good race there. I mean, I just didn't have the race figured out. I mean, I knew going into the feature, my times weren't up to speed, and I didn't get a good jump on the start of the race on Steven there, and he got around me. Then I feel like I was just holding up Brandon most of the race there until he got around me, and now I feel bad that I didn't kind of give up there and let him go around me and had a more of an opportunity to race with Steven there.
Walk us through it tonight. It seemed like if you tried to make a move on the inside, it was really hard to make it work, especially there off of turn number 4.
Well, the first couple of laps, I felt like I was just as fast as Steven there. I peaked to the inside there, but there wasn't enough room on the track to really get an opportunity there. And then after that, I guess yellow there, it just wasn't there anymore. And I just followed in, and he just slowly just started pulling away from me. And then I left the outside open there for Brandon, and he didn't jump. He didn't mess around with it. He got to the outside of me and went by.
Well, another great night of racing as you'll come home third tonight. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I thank Jay with the Dirt Track Bank and everything they do to help racers all around the country in different racing series. Got Your Six Racing Network. All the boys there on Hammer Down Racing with Brandon Templeton. Congratulate him on his run. Brian Dickens, he came out tonight. We don't really get to race with him too much at the late models, but he was out. He had a good run, I guess. And yeah, everybody watching at home.
Well, great run tonight, Kurt. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Travis.
That's third place finisher Kurt Schatzer here tonight. Now we'll talk to our second place finisher. It's the 31 of Brandon Templeton. Brandon, walk us through those 15 laps there at the end where you threw everything you had at that 55.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. It's a little bit tough to pass on that track, but at the same time, it was really fun. You could get runs in different parts depending on how you chose to enter the corner. So it made for some awesome racing. A little bit tricky with, getting high speed on the straightaways and getting slowed down quick on the tight corners. But other than that, it was a really cool track. I think that's the best racing I've been a part of on Lincoln on iRacing.
We saw you go up and around the outside of Schatzer, and then you tried to get on Spies. How big of a move was it when you and him ran out of room there down the backstretch as you tried to make that outside line work?
Yeah, I just really sent it there. I was digging on the bottom, and finally just had to do something different. You can get second by following him, but I decided I want to try to win it and threw it around the outside there. The first time he kind of slid up a little bit, and I kind of tried to cut under him, and I couldn't quite get down under him. And so the second time I just sent it and was committed to the high side on that white flag lap and almost had it, but came up a little short. He ran a heck of a race too.
Looking back on those final 2 laps, is there anything you would have done differently that maybe could have brought you home a victory?
Not on the final 2. Maybe with like 4 to go, I tried that move, and if I'd have maybe been more patient or waited for a better opportunity to set it up, there might have been a little better chance. But Steven had a good race tonight. He got himself in position, ran a heck of a heat race, and good feature, and he deserved it. So good race to him.
Well, great run for you tonight, Brandon. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to tonight?
I got to thank the Dirt Track Bank for supporting us, for supporting Friday Night Lights and Got Your Six Racing Network, Mission 22, Joe Halter, Hammer Down Racing, the guys on the team, Brian, Kurt, and Joe, help each other out. Good run there for Kurt, and I think Brian might have had a little trouble, but I think he had a good recovery there at one point, so I'll have to check it out. But good race for those guys. Extreme Images, Big C's Lawn Care, Maley's Makery, you for doing the broadcast, Extreme E-Speed, and everyone putting on the league. Thanks.
Well, that is Brandon Templeton, our second place finisher tonight. And now we'll throw it over to Extreme E-Speed TV Victory Lane. We've got our winner, Steven Spies. Steven, walk us through that feature. You had a couple challenges there, but you were able to hold on for the victory.
Yeah, I was just watching it back while I'm in the waiting room there, and I don't know, maybe 20 laps in, 18 laps in, I decided, my lap times were kind of dropping a little bit on the line I'd been running, so decided to run low, and it looks like that's about the time Brandon got around Kurt, and man, he closed that gap fast, and so I went back to what I was doing, and I don't really know the best line here, so I was just kind of trying things out, but I figured as long as I could stay outside him coming off the corners, he wouldn't be able to get a good enough run. He'd have to use up too much speed to stay low, and I could carry momentum around the top, and it seems like it worked. He was definitely faster than me there at the end, it seems like, but we don't apologize for wins, so you got to be fast enough to pass, kind of like how I was early in the midget race earlier, I suppose.
So we saw Templeton use that move to go around Schatzer. We saw him set you up for it, and you were able to close that window there down the backstretch. How big of a move was that to make sure you held on to that outside line before letting him get out to you?
I didn't know exactly where he was. I kept hearing him kind of, it sounded like on the left and then the right. So I just knew he was all over me, and I was just trying to make sure I was getting my car straight and being easy on the throttle and just not spinning the tires and getting good runs down the straightaway. I mean, it seems to me the key to this track is braking, kind of like treating it like it's a road course, and kind of like right at the apex of the corners, you want to be back on throttle and get it to full throttle as quick as you can, if you can, depending on how slick it is. So was just kind of looking out the front window and trying to pay attention to what I was doing, and figured if I didn't make mistakes, I'd be all right. So that's about all there was to it.
Well, another victory for you here in the late models. Anybody you want to give a shout out to tonight?
No, just want to thank Extreme eSpeed TV for keeping the late models here with us this summer. It's greatly appreciated. Obviously, I like it, and hopefully we'll have many more.
Well, that is your winner tonight here at Lincoln Speedway. It's Steven Spees, your winner in the Extreme eSpeed TV Pro Late Model Division. And with that, our Sunday night showdown comes to a close. Another exciting night of midget and late model racing action. For Extreme eSpeed TV, I'm Travis Piercefield. For the Coast to Coast Racing Network, we thank you for tuning in, and we will see you at a racetrack again soon.